Are you tired of the country you're living in? There may be better options. Watch to the end of the video to find out. Welcome back to our channel, Richard's Family Legacy, as we document our journey to building our family legacy. I'm Jermaine Richards.
And I'm Camille Richards. We are two siblings working together to establish our goals, and we're bringing it to you here every Sunday.
And today we're going to be deep diving into the best countries for wealth accumulation.
So, Jermaine, why would you consider leaving the great country of Canada?
The Great North. Well, first reason is it's cold. It's still cold. I've been in this country for since I was 6 years old, and I have not become climatized to the cold.
Well,
So that's reason number one.
The planet is warming. Don't you hear what they say?
Well, send some of it here. I'll take some of it.
Global warming is serious business. It gets too cold and too hot nowadays.
Yeah, I know. But here's the reality. A lot of people are looking to leave their country. So here in Canada, for example, there's lots of articles of people leaving Canada to move to various countries, one being the US, especially leaving Ontario. In like a lot of people are leaving Ontario. Why? Why are they doing it? It's all economic reasons. I don't think it's the climate. I'm joking, right? But I think a lot of people are concerned about building wealth in the country that they're in. A lot of people are coming into North America. Even more that's leaving, more is coming in, right? So a lot of new immigrants are coming into both countries, US, Canada. Why is that? Why are people considering rooting up their entire life? Some are moving with their kids across the country, starting from scratch. Why are people doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen videos of people online saying that, they've left Canada, they've left North America, they've moved to different parts of the world because it's too expensive to live, that it's going to take too long for them to establish what their dreams are, or they can't provide for their family the way that they want to, right? Like they can't send their kids to proper schools or give them the life that they want, which I feel like if we want to go back to our family, is what our family did, right? Our parents moved. We, weren't around at that time, or at least I wasn't around at that time, to establish themselves in a different country, to build a life and build, I mean, when we get down to the roots of it, to build wealth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the wealth is the underlying factor, building the wealth. So if someone wants to create wealth, there's some factors that they need to consider. Like no one's just going to escape. I use the word escape from, a country, leave their country. And some countries you do have to escape. Let's be real. You can't leave freely. You literally have to escape, right?
Yeah.
And that's a different thing. But why or what, sorry, should people be looking for? What factors should they be looking at when they want to decide? So we have a list, and here's what we came up with. So the first one on the list is economic stability. Okay, so people that leave from one country to another country, they want it to be economic stable. We're in a high inflation area time in our lives right now in Canada, same in the US, right? It's come down a bit. But still it's lower than a lot of other countries.
Yeah, I mean, there are countries, and forgive me if I'm not remembering like the exact country, but I want to say like in South America where people are taking their money and they're buying US dollars and they're keeping it like basically under their couch because they don't know what their national dollar is going to be worth from one day to the next. So it's just really useless to have that money for them,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And it's just sad. I've been listening to these stories and some of them are really bad. And unfortunately, those people most of the time don't have the opportunity to leave.
Yeah. And it's the most famous one I think was Zimbabwe, where to go to the grocery store, they would have to carry loads and loads and bags of money because it was devalued so much. I think they had even a $1 million bill at one point,
Hmm.
right?
Was that
So
recently?
no, this was years and years ago.
Okay.
And the country has turned around a bit since, but it's definitely nowhere near as bad as it was.
What I remember, and you talk about like the big bags, but I remember imaging it from like our history book when we were learning about the Great Depression. And they were saying in Germany, would take wheelbarrows of cash to go to
Yeah,
the
that's
grocery
another
store.
famous one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that comes to your economic stability, where if you don't know what the currency is going to be like, tomorrow,
Hmm.
that's concerning. How do
Yeah.
you go day to day? And that's not a country that you can build wealth in at that point, right?
Hmm.
So what's another one?
Well, I would say, what tax looks like and what their
Yes,
taxation policies are is going to
yes.
be important. I know a lot of people, when we talk about Canada compared to the US, they're like, well, Canada, you have to pay so much taxes because they're socialist. Uh, which you do pay some taxes. I think me and you could have an interesting debate about the usefulness of those taxes, but um, that's off topic for today. But yeah, so I believe taxation is important. You want to know how much of your money you get to keep versus how much you're giving to the government or into the country you're living with,
Hmm.
and what that money that you're giving to them is coming back to you and how it's coming back to you and in what form. So, having a favorable tax regime is important when you are considering moving.
Yeah. Because if you're thinking as you want to build wealth, you're probably looking at some entrepreneurial venture, right? And entrepreneurs, in my opinion, should be taxed less at a lesser rate. Reason being, they're creating opportunities, they're taking on more risk. It's more riskier to be an entrepreneur, right? So there should be some incentive, in my opinion, for that entrepreneur to build up the economy. They're adding to the economy, right? So if the tax system is unfavorable, which is what we're experiencing here in Ontario, Canada, you will see entrepreneurs leaving. You'll start to see them going and flocking to other places that are for the entrepreneurs. And I think the US is facing that in California. People are
Mhm.
starting to leave or have been leaving California and going to other places like Texas, and where the tax is more favorable.
Mhm.
And Florida is another one where they're going to Florida because the taxes are more favorable. So plays a huge role.
Yeah, they definitely do. Definitely do. I think for me, what else is very important is legal and political stability,
That's huge.
which, I think the US is kind of has been in for the last several years. Um, and I don't know, I keep up with Canadian politics a little bit, but now that I don't really vote, I don't really monitor it as much, but I feel like it's pretty stable in Canada. What do you think? I know you're the
That's
boss,
that's
but
that's a loaded question. And you know what? There's gonna be no matter what I say, there's definitely gonna be some
well,
agreement and disagreement.
I'm not asking about your whether or not you like the current government. I'm
And that's a whole
asking
different
that's a
okay.
whole different thing. But in so I would say, listen, I don't have my green card yet.
On the
So
grand scheme of things,
uh
yes, Canada is
yeah,
stable. Like we're not in war. Like
right,
Russia isn't attacking us like they're doing Ukraine and that kind of stuff, right? We're not having civil war. The two governments, yes, they're going at each other, but there's no evidence that the country is going to collapse.
right.
Um, so I would say, yeah, legally and politically, it is stable when you're looking at the global picture. But for Canada's standards, we're a little bit on shaky grounds right now.
Sure, sure. And I would say the same for the United States. I mean, I am going to claim myself as a non-voting party because I am not a citizen. But compared to when I first moved here back in 2008 and even prior to that, it was very much, and I was listening to another podcast where it was very much like your political views are your political views. You don't necessarily have to talk about them to anybody else.
Yeah.
And now it's like the first thing you want to know before you allow someone into your center, your circle of friendship is like, who did you vote for in 2016, or who do you plan to vote for now? Right. So I don't think it's unstable yet, but it is wavering. And I think that stability is being banged on day after day. And a big chunk of it was taken out January 6th. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in November. I may be looking for a place to move.
Well, it all boils down, I think, number 4 on our list would be the quality of life. I think at the end of the day, we would want to migrate to a place that's going to give a better quality of life. So when I joke around, for me, better quality of life means no snow. That's one major factor. But all jokes aside, um, you look at some countries, the standard of living, when I have friends that come from third world countries and they tell me some of the things that they go through and the hardships that they have, and sometimes what they have to do, for example, to get from their home to school or get their kids to school, and the miles that they have to walk and some of the rivers they have to go through to get to school. And you look at that quality of life and you look here. I remember hearing someone say that the most people in the world live, like the world population, 7 billion or whatever it is, 90% of it lives on less than $1 a day, something like $2 a day. I don't remember what the exact number is, but you
Yeah.
you look at that, and Canada, we're not on $2 a day.
No.
The US, we're not on $2 a day. So that says something huge. So just being in the North American continent, it's your standard of living. If you're the poorest person, listen to this, the poorest person in Ontario, Canada, is still richer than the majority of people abroad. That's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it kind of puts in that, you do have a little bit of privilege. And mind you, that privilege, we're looking at that at a global scale compared to other people, right?
Yeah.
Someone is always more privileged than you, right?
The grass is greener on the other side somewhere, right?
Unless it's AstroTurf.
Yeah. So we have quality of life.
That may be saying more than than that's a whole other conversation. All right, go ahead.
Quality of life we have. Um,
Mhm.
and going back to what we're talking about with the taxation, I think it ties into number 5, which is business environment.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I think a lot of um, how can I say this politically correct? I think a lot of people flock to this country and Canada and maybe the US, probably the same, looking for the ability to build businesses, looking for those friendly regulations. They take advantage of that, don't give back to the country, and a lot of that ends up back in their country, right? So if you're gonna build, and we talked about this in one of our first episodes, why are we want to build up Jamaica? We want to give, not to take from.
Mhm.
So business environment is huge. A lot of people come to these countries for that kind of identity, right? They want that kind of environment. Canada, though, has been going a little bit the opposite. A lot of the regulations that are here, I feel, are squeezing the business owners. I was talking off camera about the capital gain, right? Where as of June 1st, I think it is, it's going from 50% of the capital gains being taxable now to 67%. And you're like, you're lucky. Here in the US, it's 100%. But still, for Canadian standards, it's a lot. People that have built
Yeah.
their entire business on 50% of things being or gains being taxable. Now they have to adjust to 67. You
Yeah.
know,
It takes
it's
away from
crazy.
your income. It definitely takes away from your income. That means it's less money for you to live on.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, yeah, I think if you're a business person, I mean, and that's just to kind of reinforce what you're saying. I mean, that's part of the reason why I'm here in the United States versus in Canada. I would love to be in Canada. My family is there. My brothers, my parents, I have friends from college there. I would love to be in Canada to be working and practicing, but the opportunities aren't as readily available like they are in the US. And this is going to sound kind of insensitive, but I don't really care about the money per se. Yes, the money is important. I want to, if I want to get paid an appropriate amount for the work that I put in and the risk that I'm taking. So here in the United States, I expect to be paid a lot more because it's higher risk work. I can be sued a lot easier than I can be sued in Canada, right? There's multiple factors. But if someone were to say, Camille, I have this job for you, I'm going to take care of everything else in Canada in a decent place, right? I have this job at, what's the hospital like? At Brampton Civic, right? Where I grew up, where I worked. We have a job for you. We're going to get you licensed. Also, I would take it in a second. Well, 2 years ago, I would take it in a second, right? But those opportunities aren't there. I have applied, I've talked to people, they don't want to hire people that weren't there, so the opportunity isn't there, so you're missing out on people who want to stay there, who have the longevity, because those it's just not readily available for. So
Hmm.
all your medical doctors, all your trained physicians are coming to the States because that availability isn't there, and it works for the system kind of, but it doesn't necessarily work for the people, right?
Yeah.
Because you waited how long for your surgery?
Over a year.
Well, there you go, right? I mean, and where I work now, because of the way that it's split up, you wait for surgery, but you're not waiting over a year. You're definitely not waiting over a year. You wait a little bit because we have limited resources. You pay a lot less. They probably pay the same amount that you paid extra, right? If you look at what you pay for your taxes for healthcare, you probably pay the same amount, um, but they wait less.
Yeah. It's definitely something to look into.
And
And
just to reinforce before we have like a storm down there about healthcare Canada versus I work for a very different system compared to regular insurance. So let's not start that conversation, please.
number six is interesting. And this one has some debate, especially here in Canada. It's the
Oh boy.
residency and citizenship programs.
Yeah.
Um, Canada has opened up its borders, I would say, to allow more people to come in and study from abroad.
They,
And
they opened it up. I thought they closed it down a little bit more
no, well, they did. They opened it up, they closed it down, but they kind of relaxed it a little bit right now. So,
because of the housing, right?
because of the housing, yeah. So we have a house. We're going through a housing crisis at this moment. We've
Don't jump
brought
too
in
far.
literally far more people than the country can handle, the infrastructure can handle,
Mhm.
and but this is one of the things that people look at when they're moving to different countries. I remember once my colleague was moving to Australia. She liked Australia, but she moved to Australia and she figured out, okay, you have to do, I think it's a part of the culture. Don't quote me on it, but I think you have to do menial jobs before you move up. Like everyone that's coming in has to do some sort of menial public service kind of job and for X amount of years, right?
If you want citizenship.
If you want citizenship. I think it's Bahrain. Don't quote me again, but I think it's Bahrain. You can't get citizenship. So you go there, right? Let's say you want to start a business. You have
Mhm.
to work with a local and they have to own a percentage of that business forever. You can't ever own 100%.
100%. So
You
it
know,
always stays with them. You can't.
it always stays.
Yeah.
It always stays. You look at the Cayman Islands, I can speak to the Cayman Islands. You can't be considered a Caymanian. Yeah, you can apply for your status and go through, and that takes time. But even me, I was born there. I had to apply for a status because my father wasn't a Caymanian.
Mm,
So
mhm.
different countries have all this different rules in place
Yeah.
that makes it tougher for residency and for citizenship. So I think that's one of the overriding factors that's going to be there if you're going to go and build wealth.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like your longevity. I mean, it's one thing, I guess, if you're staying there for a short period of time, like if you're gonna go work in UAE or Saudi Arabia for 5 years and then come back, you don't necessarily need citizenship. But if you want to build a life, right, then you've got to consider that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and then I would say like how isolated you're going to be, right? Your connectivity, global connectivity, right? Are you going to be sitting in like a small village with no internet connection, no community that you're going to be building? Um, those things are important. Like for me, and again, I've moved within the state several times. One of the
Hmm.
things for me when I move is like how far is the closest Target?
I thought you were going to say Starbucks.
No, I mean Starbucks apparently is very important too, but usually Starbucks isn't Target. Um, but no, literally. So like when I was looking for jobs, not this time around, but the last time around, I would I would look to see where the hospital is, and then I would look to see where the next Target is.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, like, and you can debate me as much as you want, but to me, having a Target in the town kind of symbolizes like a little bit more of like development and like growth versus having a Walmart. Like a Walmart is everywhere. A
Hmm.
Target, that's next level.
And I would argue that that fits into your definition of quality of life.
Yeah, it fits into that. But like, access to global markets, access to, and I'm just talking about like overall, but like access to the things that you want, right? If you're going to move to Jamaica, right? Are you going to be able to get your latte, your frappuccino? Yes, you
Listen,
can.
you go to
But
Jamaica and you want KFC, right?
you get
It's
the
it's
best
an all
KFC ever.
day. Yeah, it's
The
the
best.
best, but it's an all day event. You
Only
don't
if you're
get
stupid enough to sit in the line. Listen, me and mommy went in there and we went in the line and we look outside. The freaking drive-through empty. We'll walk right
Yeah,
out
that just depends though, because I've been in the drive-through too, and it takes
and
time
go
sometimes,
inside.
right? So it
Inside
it
probably
depends. It
empty.
depends on the timing that you're gonna go. Um,
And
and it depends also on the
you,
one that you do go to.
you can also order online in some places.
Listen, it's like in Jamaica, people go to
KFC is
KFC like when
luxury.
they have nothing to do. It's like instead of going to nightclubs and bars, they go to like KFC.
No, they don't do that. They go for food.
Man, it takes long to get food in KFC there. But yeah, sorry, I went off on a tangent there
You did
because
go
I
off on
hate
a
waiting for
tangent.
food.
But like, yeah, I mean, and having like a community, I think that when we talk about global connectivity, it's access to the things you want, being able to build a community, right? Like a lot of people that I see that are expats in countries maybe that don't speak the language, they find a community, they find people around them as well. Yeah, so I think technology, networking, communities, access to the things that you want. The other part is like when I like go grocery shopping or I come to a new city, I look
Hmm.
for like a Caribbean grocery market, right? Because the things that I want to buy, right? Like how easy is that stuff to get? And in certain parts of the United States, it's not.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And another big thing I would say would be real estate opportunities, because if you can't own um, land or you can't own real estate in there, really what's the point? Because some countries, their laws is very stringent when it comes to purchasing and owning actual land and real estate. I think North America, for the most part, you can come in from any country and purchase and own land. In fact, some people didn't even leave their country and they were purchasing land here in Canada. They have
which is
now
sad.
not stopped it, but they've increased the taxes to prevent that. So
I
they've
thought they
increased.
stopped it for 2 years or something like that. Or did they restart it again?
I'm not aware of that. It could be something to look into. I don't have the answer to that, but it
I
could
thought
be.
they put like a ban on outside buyers for like the next couple of years.
I know they increased the tax. I don't know if it was an all-out ban. It could be. Could
Mm.
be. But yeah, my point is um some countries though don't even allow that,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
opportunities.
absolutely. I mean, if you're someone that's looking to buy a property, you have a family, you want a home, right? And you want something that you know that's not going to be able to be taken away from you to a certain extent.
So it's something to look into.
Hmm. Hmm.
What's another one?
Well, I would think about like maybe should have been higher up, but like your safety, privacy, how safe are you going to be in that country? I mean, there's certain countries like and again, I love my Caribbean people, but like Haiti, you're not going to really consider moving to Haiti at this point in time. They're going through, political strife, right? It's not safe. There's, you're going to put yourself in danger if you don't know how to move in that country at this point, right? So
Hmm.
having, security, being able to trust that if you, deposit $1,000 into your bank account, that money is going to be there. So just overall like personal security, safety, having good infrastructure that's going to protect your assets, all of
Yeah.
those are important.
Have you heard about China's social score?
No.
So there was this documentary that I was watching about China and their social score. So
Mhm.
they will collect. So okay, here we have a credit score. Looks on how you use your credit. Well, China, they were developing, and I think it's in force right now, where they collect different things that you do, and it goes against your your social score, and that goes towards whether you want to purchase something. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, because it sounds ridiculous. Okay, keep talking.
So I'm looking it up too. So social credit.
This is from MIT Technology Review. It says
Yeah.
China just announced a new social credit law.
Yeah.
Here what it means.
So here, China's social credit system gives individuals, businesses, and government entities a credit score based on their trustworthiness. A bad credit score comes with penalties like reduced access to credit and fewer opportunities. Um, but there's weird things that it looks at that it comes up with that score, which is questionable.
So it says that corporate social rating is based on factors related to companies doing business or hiring employees. It includes paying taxes, proper licenses, fulfill environment protection mandates. So that's for businesses.
Here, I have something that it tells what impacts social credit scores. Donating to charity. This is what makes it good. So if you want to increase it in the
Mhm.
green, donating to charity, donating blood, helping the poor, cleaning up the neighborhood, taking care of aging family members. So that'll make it go up. What makes it goes down? Ready for this? Cheating, jaywalking, drunk driving, and stealing. Okay, so to me, this is number nine. That would be something that I would want to know before I uproot my family and move all the way across to China.
I mean, Jermaine, do you plan on stealing?
No, but I
Do
don't
you
plan
plan
on
on
giving
drunk
blood
driving?
either. I don't plan on giving
But I mean,
blood.
then you would probably just have like a neutral. What if you can't give blood? What if you
What
have
if you
sickle
don't clean
cell
up the
anemia?
neighborhood?
What if you litter? Do
What
you
if you don't
litter?
help the poor? There were and the way they were talking about it, like you get negative scores, like if you watch pornography. Like I'm not planning on doing that, but I think people should have free reign to some extent.
Oh, that's hilarious. China's
Yeah,
social
yeah. I
credit
mean,
system.
it goes on and on and on and on. Okay. And obviously they can change this at any time that they want. So yeah, number nine, to me, it's huge. It's huge on the
Because
list.
people with low credits, social credit ratings often face restrictions from traveling by plane or train in China. Also
Yeah.
extends to traveling overseas. School ban. Those with the low social may face school bans for their children. They may deny students whose parents. So if your parents are bad, you could not get into college. Hotels, internet throttling. What the heck is internet throttling?
That's probably the pornography one.
People with a low credit score may face slower internet speeds.
Yeah.
Oh
So
gosh,
that's crazy.
what
That's
is China
crazy.
doing? Okay, fair enough. Not fair enough, but interesting.
So yeah, we don't have to worry about those things yet. I'm going to put quotation marks around the yet.
I mean, let's be honest. People who put everything on social media or people who have, and I'm not commenting right or wrong here, but people that do things outside, right? That are polarizing or bad or whatever, and then have a camera pointed at them.
Yeah. They're already putting everything there anyway.
Yeah, they're dealing with some of this stuff. They're losing their businesses, they're losing their jobs. Right or wrong, that's not, I'm not commenting on that because I think some people they get what they deserve, but that it's, I mean, this is happening in not in every situation, but this is happening in a lot of situations on its own without a name to it. Well, we call it cancel culture.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. And going into culture,
Culture,
that's our last one, right?
culture and lifestyle.
This is a huge one.
This is your number one.
Yeah. The climate.
You want beaches and sunshine all the time.
That's what I want. And I don't think there's anything wrong with some beach and some sunshine all the time. Okay.
I
I
mean, I
think
get I
it's,
get heat rash, so I have a problem with it.
listen, I will take the rash with the heat any day. There's not
Listen,
different
I don't think
creams.
I have any trouble or any fear of you moving because I heard Dylan say that he doesn't want to leave his friends.
Yeah, he did say that.
So you're
But
stuck.
if it was just me, yeah, for sure. Cultural and
Yeah.
lifestyle. And I think this plays into being happy with where you're at. At the end
Yeah,
of the
absolutely.
day, I think it ties into up at the top when we mentioned better quality of life. For me,
Hmm.
this is like a sibling with better quality of life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think quality of life and culture and lifestyle are very important. I lived in Arkansas for 3 years. While I enjoyed the people I worked with, it's very different culture, very different lifestyle out there. And especially during COVID, I was miserable. Um, Moving to Washington, D.C., it is a lot more conducive with my lifestyle. Being a single female, living downtown, having access to airports that travel all around the world versus an airport that only goes to Dallas, uh, is very different,
Hmm.
especially for someone with a busy lifestyle. So those are definitely things that you have to consider. So it's not just about moving to a country that is able to help you build wealth quickly, right? So, now it's a little different, but like 10 years ago, even like 15 years ago, you were to maybe to move to Dubai. So you're going to make a whole lot of money, but you're going to be cut off from everybody, right? It's maybe just not be what you want to do. Now you move to Dubai, you can get back here in like 8 hours or so. Uh, I would consider it. Uh, but yeah, so definitely culture, lifestyle, I think it's very important and really should be higher up on the list.
Okay. So we did some quick research, and here's 10 countries, a list of 10 countries that are frequently recognized for their wealth building potentials.
Let us know in the comments if you agree with the rating. Okay. If you think a number should be higher or should be lower or should not even be on this list, you let us know.
So coming in at number 10 is Norway.
So basically, they're saying Norway, it has a very good oil and gas resources and a very strong social welfare, stable, and it offers opportunity for wealth building through investment and like sovereign wealth funds and sustainable development initiatives. Maybe cut that out too.
Okay. And number nine is Hong Kong.
So it is a global financial center and it has a very busy, dynamic business dynamic, low taxes, and access to capital markets, which attracts investors and entrepreneurs that are looking to build wealth.
And number
Next
eight,
is Australia.
Australia.
I don't know
So,
if I'd want to move to Australia.
yeah, especially after having to do the menial jobs, but it does have a strong
No,
economy.
it's not about the jobs, it's about the animals and the bugs.
Yeah, you don't
Apparently,
want
there's
the
a bird
lizards.
out there that's going to kill you.
Well, they do have lots of abundant natural resources. It's very close to Asia Pacific market, and it does have opportunities for wealth creation if you're into mining. Um, Number seven is Canada.
It's stable. You have a high quality of life, maybe, depending on where you fit. And it's very diverse. I will agree with that. It's completely diverse. And you have investment opportunities and natural resources, technology, real estate. Um, this may be not the best. Some of this might not be the best. So real estate is there, but not for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. And then number six is the UAE, United Arab Emirates.
It's a good location, right? It's your sunny weather, maybe, and some beaches. They've made some beaches, right? Maybe you should move to Dubai. Uh, and it's
Hmm.
very like business friendly. It's booming. A lot of high net worth individuals there. So you got a lot of people that can invest into your ideas. And then it's attractive for investors, entrepreneurs. Real estate is definitely booming up there. So it's very easy for you to accumulate wealth and assets. Next is actually Germany.
And Germany, believe it or not, it's has a very large, in fact, Europe's largest economy. They've turned it around, in the last since the last World War, and they have a highly, highly skilled workforce, especially in manufacturing. They have a lot of investment opportunities. They're big in automotive. Number five, Switzerland.
You want a Swiss
Now, I
watch?
came across Switzerland a lot in my
I did.
research.
I did. It may even be a little bit higher on the list, really. But it has the bank, Swiss banks, which are very secret. It's a good way to put away money and things that you don't want the government to find. Very investor friendly, very good for wealth management. You have access to global markets and to strong currency. And it's very attractive for wealth preservation and growth. Do you have a
Yeah,
Swiss bank account, Jermaine?
I have a Caymanian.
Oh, is that the next best thing?
No, it's actually better because the Swiss opened up to America. So if you were actually in America and you open up a Swiss account, there's no secrecy.
Oh,
But if
interesting.
you open one up in the Cayman Islands, there's still the secrecy. Obama tried to change it, but he failed. So far it's still there.
Uh, Shh, maybe you should cut
Number
that out. Don't
three.
tell Biden.
Number three is Singapore. Um, Singapore, they're known for their pro-business policies. So they're actually in a strategic location. Their infrastructure is pretty advanced. Now, they serve for what you call a regional financial hub. So that attracts entrepreneurs, it attracts investors, lots of high net worth individuals who are looking to build their wealth. And number two, surprisingly, is
Ugh, the United States.
no.
Yes. Oh, two. Sorry. I thought you said
Number
one.
two is
Number two is China. with its social credit system. Apparently, their economy is growing rapidly, and it has an expanding middle class. And the middle class are those working people, keep the system turning. They have a very dynamic business environment, and they have a lot of investment opportunities and prospects, particularly in technology, manufacture, consumer markets. This is the place where all of our things are made now, right? So there's a lot of opportunity to make money there.
And number one is your hometown, the United States.
Yes, very known for its innovation, economy, diverse industries, very good business, I would say, like taxations. They really want to build businesses, small businesses, a lot of opportunities in different sectors. I don't know. So what do you think, guys? Do you think this list includes, first of all, do you think that this list is in the right order? Where
Yeah.
would you put number one?
So tell us what you think. Are you moving to any of these countries? Do you think there is a better one? Let us know in the comments.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for coming out for next week. If you've made it to the end, we appreciate you staying and listening with us. Please come back next week, like, comment, share this video, and thanks again. Bye.